Hi, friends. Welcome back to Live at the Roxy. I am in my kitchen and I guess I'm in the shadows. I have a lot of light on me. I could have spent more time figuring this out, but good enough. I think you can see me and hear me, and hopefully that works for you guys. I wanted to go live today and do a show with you guys because I haven't been doing as many streams recently. I need to be doing streams because we are still on strike. There's just for so many reasons, there's so much going on right now. But it is very challenging to wake up every day as a person who is receiving a lot of hate and decide I'm going to put myself out there today and I'm going to do a stream on the internet in which I know for sure somebody's going to watch, leave a comment in which they imply or directly say that they wish that I was not born or was dead just for being born. And that's hard when you open yourself up to the extreme amount of hate that I open myself up to every day. And a lot of us do that. I'm not unique in that way, but just saying that I'm finding it difficult to decide to do these live shows sometimes. And then sometimes I sit there for the day and I'm like, okay, I need to go live. I need to talk about what's going on. And I'm going to do it with the rock stars because you guys are my people. And I'm just so grateful that you're here. As always, questions, comments, concerns, streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer, super chat in, show your support, show up to show out. Appreciate you guys more than you know. The rock stars are everything to me. I just want to talk a little bit about some of the stuff that I've been seeing on my end, experiencing on my end. And before I get into that, I feel like everything I do needs a preface these days. So I will preface this with, for those of you guys who are stumbling upon this video and you do not know me, I am a Jewish woman living in America. I have family and friends who live in Israel. My grandma and her Palestinian boyfriend included. They are both safe currently in the United States. They randomly happen to be visiting my father. But I do have a lot of friends that are over there right now, and a lot of friends with friends that are over there right now. And it is a very trying time because of that, and because I'm a human being watching other human beings be tortured, murdered, kidnapped. And then I'm also watching the repercussions that it has on the rest of the world. And so I want to talk about some of that. Also speaking a little bit about my background. And again, with this preface, I am Jewish and I love humans, and there's nobody I hate for being born. I say that because I can only really speak about my own experience walking through the world as a Jew right now. I cannot speak about walking through the world as a Palestinian person right now, or as somebody who is Muslim, because I have not experienced that and I'm not the right person to do that stream. I can speak about the fact that a lot of people are in my DMs right now saying disgusting Islamophobic things, thinking that there's any world in which I would, for some reason, agree with them, in which I wholeheartedly do not. I do not wish the death of any civilian. I mourn for every single innocent life, no matter what their background is. And that's where I come from these streams. But again, for the purposes of this, I'm just speaking about my experience. I hope that nobody feels that this takes away from anybody else's experience in the world. This is not a stream of me having an oppression war. This is not me saying this is life as a Jew during this time and nobody else is feeling any pain. This is just me on here talking about what my day-to-day life has looked like and what a lot of my Jewish friends' lives have looked like during this time. And speaking a little bit on that. Again, streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. If you have anything to contribute to the conversation, I would love to hear from you. So Streamlabs in, super chat in, and would love to hear more on your part. Okay, so there has been an extreme amount of anti-Semitism that has been taking place for all of time. But it is on the rise currently around the world, in America, of course, in the Middle East as well. And one of the things I kind of wanted to highlight were some of the things that I have seen taking place in my backyard recently that scare the fucking shit out of me and are the reason that a lot of my friends are taking off their Star of David, taking down their mezuzah, not because they're not proud, but because they're scared shitless right now, like I am. I went to Home Goods yesterday with my friend, and there was a section there selling selling candles for menorah. And for anybody who's ever tried, for any Jews out there, for anybody who's ever lit a menorah before during the Hanukkah time, you know that if you try to buy candles during Hanukkah time, they're all sold out. There's specific candles that fit in your menorah. So I went to go, I was like, oh, let me just buy these right now. And then I looked around and there were so many people in there and I didn't want to have anybody see me grab the candles. So I was like, I'm just going to order them online. My friend, who's not Jewish, innocently came up to me afterwards with this pillow that says oy vey, which I say all the time. You guys know that. She's like, Rox, we need to buy this for you. Put it on your couch. And I was like, shh, like elbowed her. People were looking and I felt like true fucking fear that I just don't want anybody to know I'm Jewish when I'm in public. I know that sounds crazy. I understand that I'm a public figure, a small one, but still, and I'm Jewish and I talk very openly about being Jewish. But there is something right now in the air about being in public with people and openly announcing that you're Jewish. We're watching what's happening to Jewish people in public right now, and it's fucking horrifying and scary. And it's just brutal. So, okay, talking about some of this. In my backyard in Studio City, which is in the valley of Los Angeles, there was a home invasion this morning at 5:20 in the morning. There was a house filled with children and parents, and somebody broke into the house, and this man threatened to kill them, shouting "Free Palestine, Brown Lives Matter, and kill Jews." And interestingly enough, a friend of mine pointed out that she has a Citizen app. She lives relatively close by, and there was no citizen alert on this. You can look up, there's articles, there's footage. KTLA did a piece on it. It's also all over the internet. And the neighbors are talking about the anti-Semitic things that this person was yelling as well. Fucking horrifying. Just really, really scary, breaking in because they were Jewish people who live in Los Angeles. At Union College today, Jewish students locked themselves in the library to escape what most publications are calling a mob of Free Palestine protesters. I'm referring to it as a crowd until they started hammering on the door with the Jewish students locked inside the library, screaming at them. Everybody got out safe. Fucking horrifying, though. Union College is a school that I went to, that I stayed with a friend at. Michigan State, if you guys did not see, Michigan State had on, during their big game of the year against Michigan, on the Jumbotron or whatever their biggest screen is, they played trivia, and they just had a massive, massive photo of Hitler. And on it, it said, what city was Hitler born in? Like, that's like an okay thing to put up at a fucking football game right now. Just a massive, massive image of Hitler, as if it's just casual trivia. But where's he born? But where's Hitler from? Fucking disgusting, horrifying. I feel so bad. My best friend went to Michigan State. She is Jewish. I felt so bad for anybody who's Jewish there this time. How could you possibly feel fucking not hated when somebody's putting a massive photo of Hitler and asking just a fun trivia question about disgusting. This was at NYU. Please keep the world clean. This is a person holding a image that says, please keep the world clean, as somebody is throwing out Jews in the trash. You guys saw the image that this was taken from. There was another one with this med student, somebody who is in school to be a doctor, and she had an interview, same exact kind of image with Jews in the trash. And when she was asked about it, do you hate Jews? She was like, no, I love everyone. Why is there a Star of David in your trash? And I'll get to my thoughts on what should happen with people like this in a minute, but just still continuing to go down the line of things that have happened. At Harvard, there was a coalition of more than 30 student groups who posted an open letter on the night of the Hamas attack, saying that Israel was, quote, entirely responsible, end quote, for the violence that ended up killing more than 1,400 people, most of them civilians. To say that while Hamas was attacking, that Israel was entirely responsible is just entirely irresponsible, and a complete lack of understanding over human beings and Hamas being a terrorist organization. Now, this is not me sitting here saying that Israel does not need to take on responsibility for certain atrocities, but to say that the death and rape and beheading of Jewish people was entirely their fault. Egregious and disgusting. There was, of course, the hospital debacle, which led to a ton of anti-Semitism when immediately a hospital was hit, and tons of very reputable outlets posted that that was an Israeli bomb that went off and killed over 500 people at a hospital. Then footage came out of two different members of Hamas who were speaking to each other about the Islamic Jihad being the people who had released the rocket that had backfired. Then there was footage of this being not actually the hospital that was hit, but a parking lot, and not actually being 500 people, but somewhere between 15 and 50 people. Now, I'm not sitting here with, I understand, I've seen all the footage, I've listened to all the videos. Does it seem to me like Israel did not do this attack? It does seem that way to me. But can I sit here with 100% certainty and explain to you guys exactly where the rockets were fired from, who they were fired from, how they ended up going backwards, or going not backwards, but hitting the hospital instead of their target? No, because that's not my job. All I can sit here is say that immediately people were fucking attacking Jews because of this, when that's not even possibly what actually happened. Just very quick to jump on things. There was a Free Palestine protest in Chicago where a Jewish man was brutally attacked. I don't even know if I uploaded this video, and if I did, I don't even know that I want to play it. It's like me going back and forth over how much violence towards Jews I want to show. It's a protest. He gets the living shit kicked out of him and pummeled down into the ground. It's not the only one. There have been so many protests in which people are calling it a Free Palestine protest, but in which there are so many people at the Free Palestine protest that are simply there to have Palestine and Palestinian people freed. And then there are people there who are pro-Hamas. And the people who are there who are pro-Hamas and are anti-Semitic are the ones that are attacking Jews. It's not people who believe that Palestinian lives matter. It's not people who believe that Palestine should be free from both Hamas and the rule of anybody who is hurting them in any way, including the Israeli government. Those are not the people at the protests who are attacking Jews. It's pro-Hamas people, which how you could be pro a terrorist organization is just fucking beyond me. How do you even say that sentence out loud? I saw on TikTok, there are these TikTok wars going on where two different TikTokers take two different sides. One of them takes the side of the Israeli government, and one of them takes the side of Hamas, and they try to get people to pay them money, and they do different actions and moves and attempts to get more money, and they are profiting off of who is pro-Israel versus who is pro-Hamas. Fucking wild. And then there are my DMs, which are being absolutely torched on all fronts. A lot of Jewish people are not happy with how I have been posting. I can read you some of those comments in a second, but a lot of Jewish people do not believe that I should be posting the way that I have been posting. And I can give you an example shortly. And then on this other flip side of things, a lot of pro-Palestinian people believe that I have not been vocal enough about caring about Palestinian lives, which I just don't know how I could possibly be more vocal about, unless I just never mention Jewish people, which I'm just not willing to do because those are my fucking people. And I also care about their lives, and I care about every single hostage. So I'll read some of my DMs and go through some of that with you guys. And again, this is just a window into the world in case you guys are able to live your lives normally right now and are going about life during this time with it being relatively uninterrupted. I think that it's important for people to see that. Are you guys still with me? What happened here? Let me pull it up on my phone. For me, I am frozen on here. Am I frozen for you guys? Asking the important questions. Oh, you guys are still with me. My screen is frozen, but my audio is still going. I've got the spinning wheel of death happening right now, but I'm looking at you guys in my YouTube on my phone. Okay, let me see what I can do and let me know. I'm looking at you guys here. Let me know when I'm unfrozen as I continue to do this. This is truly wild. So, okay, I'll take this time to read some of the messages that I'm being sent and hope that you guys can continue to hear me during this time, which is you're still live. Thank you, by the way, to everybody in here: Jeremy Miller, Mohammed Belsin, Luke M, DL Short, Daniel Doty, Stabworthy, to George Pruitt, Andrew, Stormy, Ghost of Darkness, Jamal, Sam, everyone here. Oh, it looks like camera. Let's see. This is really wild. Start cam. It's almost like somebody doesn't want me to be talking about this. I don't want to start any conspiracy theories, but it does feel. Let's see if I can take a second to try to get this back up and running. Okay. Well, I guess you guys can hear me. You're not frozen now, you're gone, but I still hear you. Camera's on your profile picture. So strange. No, I'm not in. I'm in the live chat only on my cell phone, Ryan, and my audio is starting to become wonky. I want to pause you guys so I can try to make this work. I don't know how to do that. If I have to, I can start a new stream. Let's see how this goes. Okay. Everything is just audio's getting spotty. Huh. So strange. What can I get rid of? Oh, never mind. I'm back. Hmm. I'm back. Can you guys hear me? Huh. The whole thing kind of turned off on my. Did I do it? Am I a tech genius? Do I refuse to let anybody tell me what I can and cannot do? Quite possibly. But waiting for you guys in the chat to confirm. I did it. Oh, thank you, Luke. Seriously, sometimes when I decide to talk about things that matter, the internet gods are like, fuck you, no, just absolutely not. Thank you to everybody who stayed here, stuck with me through that very strange time. I want to give a shout out to Christopher Scott. Thank you so much for your support. Really appreciate you. Streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer. Super chat in for anybody who is able to support this show, the little engine that could. This little one-woman show. I am so grateful to you. I have been able to continue doing this show for years now because of you guys. It is a fully funded show. Sometimes we talk about pop culture. Sometimes when we're on strike, we don't talk about movies and television. We talk about my life. We talk about dating. We talk about the real world. We talk about my world. Not that the world is mine, but just what's happening in the world of Roxy. And right now what's happening in the world of Roxy is that it's a very trying time right now. So anyway, please send in that support so the show can continue. Streamlabs.com/Roxy Stryer, super chat in. Okay, so let's go over some of the things that I have been getting messaged. I have been posting some of them, not all of them. The ones that I'm trying to avoid posting is just the mass amount of fuck the Jews, gas the Jews that I'm receiving. It just feels at some point useless and pointless and exhausting and sad. But here are some that I've been receiving that are just like, why? Stop invading other lands, you freak. Okay, so that's like a personal DM that I got. Stop invading other lands, you freak. I just think that it's very confusing. And then I responded, and then I get even more hate because people say that I don't understand the situation. When it's like, people seemingly are just brand new to the Middle East or conflict or war in the Middle East. And it is really, truly wild to watch people tell me I don't know what I'm talking about as a Jew, as a person with family in Israel, as a person with family who are Jewish and Palestinian, and as a person who is has been there to Israel and is very familiar with the ground, the land, the history. And then other people who are just Googling being like, that's wrong. And it's like, based on your Wikipedia search, like, what is it that you are talking about? So speaking of stop invading other lands, you freak. Number one, I'm getting a lot of name calling. Freak. What? Just what the fuck? So strange. Number two, I've invaded nothing. I can barely pay rent in my own apartment. I'm super duper not invading anybody's land. If they're talking about the Jews, this is what I want to know from people who think that we're invading land. Where do you guys want us to go? We are indigenous to Israel for thousands of years. If you look at the UN's definition of what makes somebody indigenous to a land, Jews absolutely more than qualify as being indigenous to Israel. Palestinian people are also indigenous there. So just to be clear, this land is your land, this land is my land. I'm not taking the song. I'm just talking about literally Jews are indigenous to Israel. They have a right to be there. Palestinian people have a right to be there as well. It's not that fucking complicated. So for people to say that they're invading land, it's egregious if you also look into how the land became theirs, if you look into the UN, if you look into England, if you look into why the Jews are there and where we've been mass executed from. I just really, truly want people to tell me, where do you want us? There's one Jewish state in the entire world. Not all Palestinian people are Muslim, and that is something that I feel like a lot of people don't understand. But as a side note, there are 2 billion Muslim people in the world. There are so many Muslim countries where Muslim people are allowed to live. As a Jew, if you go into Iraq, you could be executed for being Jewish. Like, there are so many places that we still can't even go to without being fucking murdered. Where do you want us? If you believe we've stolen everybody's land, which land is our land? Where do you want us? because I don't believe you want us anywhere. You want us gone. Pick a fucking place and leave us be. But you can't, because you don't believe that we deserve to exist. So that's why comments like this are just so frustrating. It's additionally frustrating because I am not Israeli, nor am I Netanyahu. I am unbelievably grateful for the existence of Israel, and I feel more passionate than ever today that if Israel didn't exist, neither would I. Without Israel and without a Jewish state, the Jews would be wiped off the fucking planet, because there is nowhere for them to go where they're safe. That is a fact. We are executed everywhere we go. There are between 15 and 16 million of us left on the planet. Think about the fact that 6 million of us died in the Holocaust, and I'm not trying to bring the Holocaust into every conversation, but it's fucking relevant. 6 million of us died in the Holocaust. And there are only 15 million, 15.5 or whatever million of us left. 6 million is so many of us. It's so fucking many. So it's frustrating to hear everybody, you're invading lands, you freaks. Where do you want us? I also do not stand by the actions of Netanyahu, which is where I'm getting a lot of hate from Jewish people as well, particularly Israeli people who are super ultra right wing, as I am not. I stand with the Israeli people. I stand with the civilians. I stand with the innocent Israeli lives who have been fucking taken and brutally murdered, raped. Sorry that YouTube doesn't accept that word and will demonetize me. That's fucking fine. I stand with the people. Do I stand with the government in the same way that I don't stand with the government of the United States? I don't stand with Trump. He does not speak for me. I don't stand with Biden, even though I voted for him. Now, all the things he does are things that I agree with. I don't stand with our government taking away a woman's right to choose. What don't people in this country understand? That standing with Israelis is possible while also standing with Palestinian people. You're not standing with Netanyahu. And the people who are standing with him, I don't fucking understand either. And the people who are standing with Hamas are openly standing with a terrorist organization. And the people who don't believe Hamas is a terrorist organization, such as the BBC, are almost equally they're almost equally at fault, because it's fucking disturbing and disgusting to look at what Hamas has done with the US, with Canada, with Europe, with so many people openly. This is a terrorist organization. They slaughter, they rape, they kidnap. They're a terrorist organization. They're ISIS. And BBC is like, can't call them terrorists. They're militants. What the fuck are you talking about, Brody? Little tangent. Was going to things that people wrote to me. In the meantime, DL Short, we must be pro-Jew, pro-Palestinian people, but anti-Hamas and anti-Israeli government. I appreciate that. Here's something that I will say, though. I am absolutely anti-Hamas. I think that Netanyahu, there are many reasons I think that Netanyahu is a monster. The first one being that priority number one, and my only main priority for the Jewish people, is getting back the fucking hostages. And we are coming up on what is about to be 3 weeks. And we have 4 hostages who have been released. I don't understand. I'm not a military commander. I'm not a military, I'm not a secret ops expert. It's not my job to know how to do these things. But I do not understand, with one of the best fucking militaries in the world, how, if Netanyahu was focused on one thing and one thing alone, returning the hostages, getting the hostages back, how we could only have 4 back. It doesn't make fucking sense to me. That doesn't check out. Also, I do not believe in dumb bombs. The Israeli government should be able to be using smart bombs, meaning directional bombs, to take out Hamas without taking out civilians. I do not believe in carpet bombing. I do not believe in using, but also to Hamas, I do not believe in using civilians as shields. So I don't understand why this is so hard for people to understand. I also believe that people use talking points. And when people say that they're anti-Israeli government, most people don't even know who the president of Israel is. Most people don't know what IDF stands for. Most people do not understand the politics, but they do not like Netanyahu, and that is fucking fair. More than fair. Musti says, hope you're well, Roxy. Crazy times we live in. Musti, here's something I can tell you. I'm absolutely not well. But thank you for your hopes and your wishes. I appreciate that. I really do. I care so deeply about this issue that it is hard to function in the fucking world as I am attempting to. But what makes it harder, but I don't get off social media because I must continue to have these conversations because I am getting so many people's minds are being changed because we're working on educating them, and that matters. And so many of you guys message me, I'm the only Jew that you know. So it matters what I say. I'm not saying that what I say matters more than any other person, but just I know that I have this little platform and I know that I'm able to talk to people. So I really try to put a lot of effort into my words because I know that they mean something to people if I'm the only Jew that they fucking know. It's a lot of weight. This person messaged me yesterday, all capital letters, 3 times the amount of people are dying in Palestine, you stupid bitch. It's so hard for me when I post about release the hostages and somebody responds with that. I have never once claimed Palestinian people are not dying. That fucking kills me and aches my heart that any civilian is dying. Why does me saying release the hostages? And if you're asking for a ceasefire, could you also please ask for the hostages to be released? Why does that invoke 3 times the amount of people are dying in Palestine, you stupid bitch, all capitals? It was a woman who responded that to me, a woman my age. To the people who are tearing down the hostages, the images of the hostages, I posted that it was disheartening. And somebody wrote to me, why is it disheartening? Being anti-Israel doesn't mean being anti-Jewish. A lot of people hide their anti-Semitism behind being anti-Israel, which again, I don't know why we accept that comment. Anti-Israel is such a fucked up thing to say. Would you ever say you're anti-America? It's such a weird sentence. If you have an issue with our government, which I have several and have had forever, you could say, I'm anti the current Supreme Court. You could say, I'm anti the president. You could say, I'm anti the government and the establishment and the healthcare system. But just to be anti-Israel is to be anti its existence. And to be anti the existence of Israel is to be anti-Jewish. It is not anti-Jewish to be against the government, as it's not anti-American to be against Trump. That is not how it works. You can't just say to be anti-Israel is not to be anti-Jew. But okay, say the people who are saying they're anti-Israel really mean that they're anti-Netanyahu. Say that is what they mean. There are images of hostages, of civilian hostages, that are being ripped off of the walls by people. How is that being anti-Israel? The government and not the Jews. You don't want the people to know who the hostages are. That's anti-Semitic. It's not anti-Israel. That's the truth. Now, on that topic, I do want to address something because I'm getting a lot of heat from Jewish people right now as well about me not more harshly condemning people who are doing these things. There's a lot of college campuses, some I've spoken about, the people on Harvard campus, Union, the people at NYU. There's people at my alma mater, USC. There are people all over the country on college campuses that some of them are having peaceful protests, and some of them are full-blown pro-Hamas, and some of them are ripping hostage posters off of walls, and some of them are going to vigils in which Jewish people are holding ceremonies for the lives that were lost, and they're shouting at them. There's all different things going on across college campuses. And a lot of these students, because of it's 2023, a lot of their images are being posted online. And then a lot of their names are being revealed. And then a lot of them are being put on lists and are probably very likely never going to be able to get a job at a Fortune 500 company ever. And what I will say about that is that I feel stuck between a rock and a hard place at all times with this, because do I believe that ripping down a poster of an innocent civilian hostage child is the wrong thing to do? Yes, with my whole chest. I think that's fucked up, and I think it is anti-Semitic. Do I believe if we place those people on lists, if we dox them, if we torture them online, do I believe that they will like Jews more? No. My goal is for people to stop hating us. I just don't want to be hated for existing anymore. And I don't want my friends and family and people to be hated for existing. And so I don't know what should happen. I don't know what should happen. But I'm also not trying to ruin anybody's life. I hope that they educate themselves. I hope that they learn why what they're doing is wrong. I hope that as they grow up, they meet more Jews, as a lot of times going to college is the first time people meet Jews. And this is not me making excuses for them. This is just me saying that I don't want them to hate us more. I want them to hate us less. And the harsher we punish people for their own actions, oftentimes the more they double down. And so I think it's a really tough position to be in. I don't believe in fighting hate with hate. I don't believe fighting darkness with darkness. And so, you know, similar to any time that an athlete or an actor has said something anti-Semitic, I hope that we can get them educated as opposed to canceled, which I know is a strange term as is. Those are my thoughts on that. Another thing, because as it's mentioned here by Mark, who of course has no profile picture, you're a middle-class white girl living in California. Stop making it about FFS. Stop making it about you, FFS, for fuck's sake, I'm guessing. I think maybe you didn't watch my whole stream where I started with, this is just my personal experience. It's live at the Roxy. I'm Roxy, and this stream is about my experience. I'm not making the war about me, just talking about what it's like to be a Jew right now. Also, but that's the only thing I wanted to comment with that, was that there's a lot of people out there that are talking about how this is a white versus brown issue, which just shows how little they know about the fucking Middle East and how many Israeli people are brown people. Most Israeli people I know are not white. They are brown. I don't know why people believe that this is a white versus brown issue. There are Israeli people of all shades and of all backgrounds. there are Jews of all shades and all backgrounds. Shades is a weird word, but that's strange. Also, just reiterating that while I certainly am a recipient of white privilege, recipient, another strange word, and I do get to move through the world as a white or white passing person, I am not considered white by white supremacists, which is why they tried to exterminate the Jewish race, not white race, the Jewish race. And so while many Jewish people are white, many of them are not considered white by the white people who are trying to murder them. And it's just food for thought for people who come in here and have comments like that. Okay, let me go into the Streamlabs, see what's going on with you guys. Streamlabs.com/RoxyStryer, super chat in, questions, comments, concerns, bits, bots, thoughts, and twats. Okay, and would love to hear any of your guys' experiences the last couple of weeks too. Hope you're hanging in there. Let's see, it is the 25th of October, which means that John Get Bent sent in support today. Thank you so much, John. Appreciate you. Mike Joyce also sent in some big support, saying Biden mentioned today that he's not sure the casualty figures coming out of Gaza are accurate since the numbers are being released by Hamas. Do you think they could be inflating the numbers? I try to be as open and honest with you guys here as I am anywhere because you're my people, the rock stars. This is a very tough question to ask me live because I want to use my words carefully. So please give me grace if I misspeak here. But when we saw what happened with the bombing of the hospital situation and 30 seconds later, the numbers were released that 500 people were killed. And it seems as if that was not the case. When it comes to the Israeli numbers, the deaths, the people that were kidnapped or taken or tortured or the bodies that they're identifying, it took days to identify most of the people, and every body that is dead has a name or a Jane Doe attached to it. I believe that there are many Palestinian people dying right now, and every single civilian life, every life matters. Do I believe it is possible that Hamas is inflating numbers? I absolutely do, because I don't trust Hamas with anything. I think that if you believe what Hamas says, that's egregious. One of the two women that was returned, the two hostages that was returned, the Israeli hostages that was returned the other day. So first there was 2 American hostages returned, and then there was 2 Israeli hostages returned. And one of them is my friend's aunt. And I just leaped for joy for her because she seems like a really good person. Her uncle is still there, of course, as you guys know if you're following the story. But when I was messaging her and speaking about her aunt and watching the footage, as you guys saw, she shakes the hand of the Hamas person who released her. And a lot of people, and then she talks about the treatment with the shampoo and the doctors. And it's like, number one, people don't get credit for providing doctors after beating the shit out of you. Number two, they have her husband. What is she going to do? Fucking rag on them? Number three, Stockholm Syndrome. Number four, I was so impressed with her ability to still, no matter what she had been through after watching death and torture and rape, to lead with love. But I don't believe, there's no video that has shown me that Hamas is anything but a terrorist organization. They are a terrorist organization. So do I think that they could be lying about a death count for the public? Yeah, of course I do. I'm not a fucking moron, though. I'm not sitting here thinking that Hamas has made up every single death and there's no Palestinian deaths. Of course, that is not the case. But yeah, I definitely believe that they are. I definitely believe they could be inflating numbers. They also released posters, if you guys saw early on, of their children that were killed. And a lot of those children I know to be Israeli kids. My friends' families, friends, where it's their kids on these posters, where they're claiming that that's who died in rockets. So, that. Thank you for the question. I don't know that I navigated it perfectly, but those are my initial thoughts on it. Ash in the Streamlabs says, sorry for the bullshit in your DMs. I don't know if there's a conversion between hate messages to dollars. I hope this helps a little. I wish Ash, it does help a lot. Thank you so much. I wish this was like hate tweets and I could read them funny. You stupid bitch. But I don't think that it comes across that way. Yeah, I don't think it comes across that way. So Bobby Jackson, the Streamlabs, thank you, Bobby, says the way you break it down is always so on point to me that I don't understand how any sane person can mistake your intentions. Did you see, thank you so much. Did you ever see the video Amari Stoudemire said about the lack of support? It's pretty succinct. No, I didn't. I would like to look at that, though. Thank you for letting me know. I'll look it up afterwards. If you could summarize in the chat for me, but I'll definitely look it up afterwards. Thank you for the support. Streamlabs.com/RoxyStrider super chat in. Danny Costs, sending you love and support. Costs like lost. I appreciate you. Tim Sim says, hope you're doing all right. An absolute messy situation, especially when the Israeli government's response to the Hamas attack is escalating the genocide of every Palestinian in Gaza. I think that, everybody right now is doing the best they can to speak as accurately as they possibly can. I do not stand by Netanyahu's actions. I also believe that Hamas has out loud openly said that their intention, and that is what genocide is, what your intention to murder somebody of every race, religion, classification. Hamas's intention is to murder every Jew on the planet. That is their intention. And I don't know. I know that Israeli people, that is not, it's hard for me to read quotes like this. I get frustrated because I think that Hamas is calling for and executing a genocide on the Jewish people. That is what is happening. And I believe that the death of civilians, Palestinian civilians, is fucking horrifying and disgusting and so upsetting. I don't know. I would hope, I would pray that the intention of the Israeli government is not to murder every person in Gaza. I've never once heard that. I think that their actions, a lot of the actions of Netanyahu, are fucking horrific. I believe that if he cared more about the hostages' lives, then he could be moving forward in a way, in a direction that could actually be leading with love and the importance of civilians. And that is not the way that he is moving, and it's fucking disturbing. Anyway, thank you for your support. I appreciate that. Andrew, I'm looking at your comment right now saying active shooter in Lewiston, Maine. I haven't looked at that. Tell me what's going on. Jesus Christ. It's like it doesn't fucking stop. My friend posted today and then I reposted about this fucking poor woman whose son was killed by these cops who ran him over, and then she was looking for him and has been looking for him for 7 months, and I guess they fucking ran him over and then hid it and buried him. It's like there's just still so many things going on in the actual world that it's just so hard to fucking concentrate on any of the things, including the war. Emmanuel says, I know, Rox, every day has bad news. There are some cool things, though. I do want to say that this has nothing to do with what we're talking about right now, but I did see this article the other day, and I was like, thank goodness for this article that I really needed. There was this 9th grader who was in some kind of science competition, and he invented this bar of soap that he's selling for 50 cents that helps to prevent and to cure some melanoma. And he invented it, and it's a bar of fucking soap that he's selling for 50 cents. And I was like, man, imagine if all our brain power and money went to saving lives and helping humans. Imagine that. Imagine if we could stop killing each other and start saving each other and helping each other. Just fucking imagine. Just cool to see a 9th grader and then not trying to fucking make an arm and a leg off at like 50 cents a bar of soap that helps with melanoma. That's pretty unbelievable. Again, not about this, but just, okay. And one of the last things I want to say about my DMs is that a lot of people right now are using me as a resource, and they're getting news from there, which means that a lot of people are sending me news that they want me to post. And I appreciate people sending me things, but a lot of people this week, since the images have been released, are sending me burnt to a crisp body images over and over and over again. Can you post this? Can you post this? Of Jews interlocked, embracing each other, burnt to an actual fucking crisp. Or images, horrible images of people getting sexually assaulted, or what's happened afterwards, or their bodies or their homes after they've been taken. And I have to look at those every time. And I just don't want people to have to look at that as much as I'm having to fucking look at that right now. And that's not fair. I don't have to. I guess I could just ignore all the messages, but I'm trying to stay informed. I'm trying to post things, and a lot of you guys are sending me these great things. But anyway, it's just fucking, it's challenging. It's challenging. And there's that video today where the IDF is questioning the people in Hamas who were part of the attack, who they have, and hearing what they are saying, you know, like how they sent people in to draw every single room of every house in the kibbutz, and they to mark 1 dog, 2 kids, where the stairs are, everything, like that. This is that they are doing, like that people were coming there for months, marking everything. Horrifying. And then they're speaking about like this, like it's so nothing, nonchalant, because they're terrorists, because Hamas are terrorists, and they do not, the actions that they did, they believe. There's those phone calls, jumping for joy, Dad, I killed so many Jews, I killed so many Jews, you would be so proud of me. Not I killed so many Israelis, I killed so many Jews. Again, not that killing Israelis is better. It's fucking horrible, they're civilians. But when people are like, this isn't a Jewish issue, that is what's their charter, killing the Jews. Anyway, it's again another fucking full-blown tangent. Full-blown tangent. And I am not, Daniel, I am not saying that there has not been any genocidal rhetoric from anybody in the Israeli government. I am absolutely not saying that. What I am saying is that for every person who continues to call it a genocide, I don't understand for the people who are looking at what Hamas is doing and what they're saying. I mean, this is a letter that somebody was found with, that they were found on a Hamas terrorist that was captured during this time. Know that the Jews are sick people with no cure. The only way to stop them is cutting their heads and taking out their hearts and livers. For every single, how is Hamas not committing a genocide and attempting to commit a genocide on the Jews? How is that not genocidal rhetoric? How can we sit here and pretend there's not another genocide happening to the Jews? If you don't see that, then I feel you're fucking blind. That's my only point in that. It's not to argue that there are not people who are extremely racist in the Israeli government. The point of the IDF is not to kill every Palestinian person. That is not what the IDF is trying to do. The point of Hamas is to kill every Jewish person. That is what they are trying to do. Every civilian life that is taken right now is fucking gutting and devastating. It's just exhausting to continue to not hear people talk about the genocide on the Jews that is taking place from people who are straight up with their whole chest out loud saying, our goal is to eliminate the Jews from the river to the sea. From the river to the sea. They would like to eliminate all of Israel, all of the Jews, and then continue on to every Jew in the world. That is what they're saying right now, 10 toes down. How is that not a genocide? And then they're doing it, and they are attempting to do it. And Hamas is being funded by other anti-Semitic people who are trying to get them to be able to do a better job at it. It's fucking scary. Okay. Enough of this live stream for the day, I believe. Anyway, thank you guys for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for joining the the live stream. Thank you for the people who did Streamlabs. Thank you for the people who did Super Chat. Thank you for the people who just showed up. I really appreciate you. And yeah, it's a scary fucking time for a lot of people, myself included, and being with the community, being part of the Jewish community, being around Jews makes me feel safe right now. And being part of the rock stars, also being with you guys, makes me feel safe. And I hope that you guys feel safe here as well. So there's other things that are going on. A trailer to a movie that I'm in just dropped, which has a SAG interim agreement. A short film that I was in just came out, which is a non-union little indie. So those are both things that I can promote. If you want to see the short film, go over to Cameron Rice's YouTube, The Ghost at the Table. I posted it on my Instagram as well, or my story. And if you want to check out the trailer, the movie's called Crust. They dropped it on Fangoria. Really excited about that. Again, really has nothing to do with things that we're talking about right now. But if you need a little distraction, those are just a couple of things. In the meantime, try to stay as educated as you can. Try to stay as safe as you can. Stay safe, stay sane. Put down the toilet seat and live. We don't want those flumes. Don't trump up the Holocaust. Justice for all the people who've lost their lives due to excessive force. My body, my choice, forever on the rainbow. We love you. We stand with the women of Iran, some of the bravest women we've ever seen. Golden sparkles for the Zen one himself. Glenn, we hope you're doing okay. For all the innocent lives being lost, I'm fucking sick for you guys, and we're thinking of you. Especially the children. All children. Okay. Much love, and I will talk to you guys soon. Later.